another video. In today's video, I thought I'll talk about my personal experience when I went to a Latvian school, obviously when I still lived there. Not mainly, but all of it's going to be pretty much like questionable rules and sort of like decisions of Latvian school system per se, at least in the school that I went to. So number one, the chalkboards. As I finished that particular school in 2011, they were still using chalkboards, and every so often when the chalk would run out, one of us would have to go to where basically a woman sat by the entrance because she was the only one who would supply like chalk for the boards. But yeah, maybe even now they use chalkboards, but yeah, up until 2011, my particular school used chalkboards. I'm surprised because I'm pretty sure by then there was like such thing as whiteboards. Like, come on. Number two, book registers. Every morning when we come to the class, we would sit down and the teacher would open the book. It would be basically the register. Instead of putting it all on computer, it would be in the book. So she would say, for instance, my name, Riyad, and I would say, oh, I'm president, things like that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they still use that sort of thing even nowadays. Number three, at least my particular school, every single teacher, it could be from teacher to the PE teacher to a canteen person, a clean person, everything. Every single person was a female. Now, I don't have a problem with every person being a female, but there was literally not a single male tutor for any classes at all. There was maybe one that was sort of like part of the school but wasn't. But yeah, every single personnel of the school was a female, which now looking back is a bit weird. Like, do they have like trust issues with male staff? Number four, when it would be your birthday, or like in Latvia we have name days, you would be required, well, sort of like required, to bring in either chocolates or something that you would give out to the class. So say you would have chocolates, you would walk around the entire class and a person would take one or two chocolates or whatever, and you would walk around the class and hand certain amounts to every student. If you wouldn't, like I, for instance, there was one time that I didn't, and I didn't get in trouble per se, but the look on my teacher's face was almost like disgust, like how dare you not do it. But compared to UK, they just don't care. It's like, yeah, it's your birthday and things like that. Number five, you could potentially stay in the same year for a second year in a row. So for instance, I could finish year five, and if in year five I'd done terribly, didn't do nothing that my teacher would think, oh yeah, he done well for the year, they would have every right to leave me to do the year five all over again. So all my friends could be moving up to year six and so on and so on. I would still be a year behind. So I would technically be the oldest one in the class, and per se thought that I'm basically the dumbest in the class. Number six, all the students stay in the same school for 12 years. So in UK, obviously you have the primary school, then you move to comprehensive school. So it sort of like mixes things up. But like you could be in year one and be in the same school as year 12, and it just makes things a lot harder as you're basically the small fish of the school. And knowing Latvia, it's not like the schools, I wouldn't say they're the safest. So you do feel sort of like, oh, I gotta be careful what I do, what I say, who I hang around with, where I hang around. So number seven, when you start school, you're about 7 years old. When you finish school, you're either just about turn 18 or you've turned 18. Compared to in UK, where as soon as you turn 16, that's it, you finish school. So in that sort of sense, you could be in year one, but the oldest students in the school are pretty much adults. So that makes things also quite awkward. Number eight, from year one to year four, you stay with the same teacher for every lesson except PE, English, and like IT studies and things like that. But for every other lesson, you stay with the same teacher all day. So majority of the time, the teacher your actual teacher who's teaching you, for instance, science, may not even teach you the right things that you would learn from an actual science teacher, but that's just as an example. Number 9, overly strict teachers. Like for instance, I was in about year 2 or year 3, and you know, like at that certain age, kids are kids. They're gonna mess around, roll on the floor, and be kids basically. And how strict the teachers were in that school. It was me and probably like 3 or 4 friends of mine, and the teachers didn't like what we were doing, so they told all 3, 4 of us, you got to go on the floor, lie on your stomach, and stay there for an entire break. So that was about 45 minutes or so. We were told that we had to lie on the floor while everyone else was running around and enjoying their break. We had to be on the floor that entire time. Couldn't move, couldn't talk to each other, nothing. How fucked up is that? You tell a kid, yeah, you got to be on the floor, you got to lie down in the dirt, pretty much. How fucked up is that? And number 10, for instance, in UK, you start your GCSEs in about year 10, like properly. In Latvia, obviously, as you got 12 years in school, you got your GCSE equivalents in year 3, year 6, year 9, year 12. So basically, you could be about 9 years old and do your actual GCSE exams that will pretty much determine if you get to move on to the next year in school, if you're going to be left behind. Pretty much from 9 years old, your whole future is determined. It's like, what 9-year-old would want to do GCSE exams? They wouldn't even know what GCSE exams equivalent is. But that's Latvia for you. They got some odd rules. Yeah, if you enjoyed this type of video, press the like button, it'd be much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel, press the bell notification button, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video.